Hi, I'm David Pollandine, Director of Development in the Prairies for IJM Canada. The sun is shining, the wind is warmer, and although here in the Prairies that doesn't mean spring is coming yet, it certainly feels like a foreshadowing. As you can see, I'm dressed for spring, got my Northern Irish football soccer top on, I've got my IJM slavery-free hat, and I'm back to give some updates about how IJM's working to protect the poor from violence as we still navigate COVID-19 across the world. I also got the chance to interview the mission coordinator from St Aidan's Anglican Church here in Winnipeg, Chris Barnes. And I asked him what motivates him and the church to make a stand for justice and to support IJM. Of course, IJM are protecting the poor or people in poverty from violence in three ways. That's with an immediate response, helping people affected by COVID-19 now, a near-term response, continuing to do investigations and rescues, and a long-term response, partnering with governments to protect the poor from violence and slavery. So for an immediate response, helping people affected by COVID-19 now, and for that we're going to South Asia. IJM staff distributed COVID-19 relief items to local authorities across our project area at the end of 2020. Here are just some of the numbers things that they distributed. So 15,000 N95 masks for municipal staff, doctors, nurses, ambulance drivers, community health and nutrition workers and NGO staff who serve over 1 million people in Bangalore City. 1,000 full PPE suits for the Department of Rural Development, which coordinates poverty alleviation programs across the state. 1,000 PPE kits including face masks, face shields and sanitizers to police departments in Bangalore Rural District. And 5,000 bottles of hand sanitizer to local authorities in a section of Bangalore City with higher rates of COVID-19 infection. This is a gigantic effort to help reach out to vulnerable people in their moment of need with exactly what they need and provide not just goodwill, but new connections with vulnerable communities, perhaps that we didn't have before, and will prove very useful as we seek to protect people in poverty from violence. Secondly, for a near-term response, continuing to do investigations and put on rescue operations, and for this we're going to the Philippines. 4 women have been sentenced for the online sexual exploitation of 11 children in Cebu, the Philippines. Plea bargains led to convictions in 2 separate cases. This is a quote from the public prosecutor. Raising a child takes a village. At the same time, protecting a child takes a community. This is a testament for the cooperation with law enforcement, the justice system, and non-governmental organisations such as International Justice Mission. In the first case, 3 women pleaded guilty to exploiting 9 children, all of whom were related to them. They each received sentences of 15 years imprisonment plus damages. In the second case, a woman pleaded guilty to offering her small son and daughter for online sexual exploitation in exchange for money. She was sentenced to 23 years, 1 month and 1 day in jail, plus damages. Thirdly, for a long-term response, partnering with governments to protect the poor from violence and slavery. And for this, we're going to Bolivia. Meet Grecia and Marco, 2 of IJM's incredible partners in Bolivia. These Bolivian lawyers have been trained by IJM to provide pro bono legal support to victims of sexual violence and their families. They've already supported multiple cases, including one which resulted in a 21-year conviction. Training others to work alongside us is essential as we seek to scale towards rescuing millions and protecting 500 million by 2030. What a great example of Grecia and Marco modelling to others how they can use their time and gifts to bring justice and freedom to vulnerable people. Well, I met Chris Barnes recently from St Aidan's Anglican Church, who have partnered with IJM in the past on Freedom Sundays, which is, of course, standing together with the church to say we're going to put an end to slavery. So let's hear now how Chris and the church, how they use their time and gifts to help others. Chris, tell us about Chris Barnes.
So Chris Barnes is a staff member here at St. Aidan's Church, and I serve as in the role of mission coordinator. I guess to some people that might be the community pastor, lay pastor role for some churches. So, well, one thing we loved about International Justice Mission was, it's one thing to constantly serve and to meet needs of people, but very often you can get worn out, and it doesn't seem like you're making any sort of dent in any of the issues you're trying to help, homelessness, people who are hungry. But one thing I loved about IJM was you guys look for the root causes of these things. So yes, it's important to feed people who are hungry, but it's also important to really look at some of these systemic issues that are causing these symptoms to occur. And that was something we wanted to be a part of. So that was one thing that really drew us to really getting involved and becoming a partner church. Sure. But this is a partnership that's been there for about 25 years now. And many amazing programs have developed. We have a water project there that we partnered with Compassion Canada. We also have an orphans program where we usually have each year 138 orphans who we help through school. But once again, it's more of meeting the needs of something that is much deeper, right? There's a reason why there's so many orphans and so many widows in Uganda. And we want to bless them and help them and do what we can, being the church, and to assist our sister churches in Uganda. But at the same time, we want to look deeper too to see how we can make long-term changes. That's another reason why we've looked to connect with IGM. Yeah, in this.
And I've been very grateful that I've had the opportunity to speak in the church a number of times about this issue and make that connection, and that connection between someone's property being taken off them and having a widow who's now landless, and often that widow will have 5-6 children who are dependent on her, who are then vulnerable to become orphans. So we can see that connection in the way that it can work. So,
right, it's sharing the gospel with our words, but also with our actions, and that's what we look to do with everything we do. And we feel like when you do it that way, it not only blesses people, but it can change their lives forever, right? That's really what's behind our mission here at St. Aidan's.
thank you to Chris Barnes from St. Aidan's Church. And if you have any questions or want to find out more about IGM, then you can go to www.igm.ca, or you can reach out to me at dpollandine@igm.ca. Thank you for tuning in again this week, and thank you for your support and care as we continue to rescue and walk with and restore victims of violence, especially during this pandemic. See you in a couple of weeks. Take care, stay safe. God bless. Bye-bye.